Hello, everybody. This is Vaginal Fantasy. Oh, I can hear myself somehow.
Did you do it again?
Hello, everybody. This is Vaginal Fantasy. It is. We are on a new channel. We are on the Vaginal Fantasy channel. Look, it's a new room.
Yay.
Wow, beautiful.
So beautiful. Oh my God, everything feels sparkly.
So sparkly. If you don't know what this is, welcome. We are in our new home, so we can be a little bit more self-righteous about what it is. But this is a romance book club where every month we discuss a book that's in the romance genre that has a twist of either genre or history, like Anita Blake or Twilight, something like that. So this is our 38th or 36th or so. It's something up there. It's in the upper 30s. So we've been doing this for almost 3 years.
Wow.
And isn't that crazy?
How is that crazy? Happened? How?
I know. Wow. We're just as young, don't we?
No, we do.
Younger.
Through the magic of science.
Through the magic of science and whatever else. Yeah.
Lighting.
So, lighting. Science and lighting. That's exactly what it is. So thank you all for joining us in our new digs, and we hope to build this channel to something really, really cool over the coming weeks, months, and 36 more at least. So welcome to my co-hosts. At first, we have Kylie Kazebee.
Hello.
Bonnie Burton.
Well, hello there.
And Sophie in the background.
Yeah, my dog, if you can see my dog, she's in the background asleep. She's healthy again, so yay.
Yay!
Yay!
And the fabulous Veronica Belmont.
I got some whiskey in a vaginal fantasy glass here.
Yay! That's a lot of whiskey.
Yep.
That is a lot of whiskey. Did you water that down at all, or?
It's got 2 melty ice cubes in it, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, I guess you answered the question about what you're drinking. I created an experiment this month, and I have ginger ale, and then I put this much absinthe in it, and it is not good.
No.
Good. Not good.
I wouldn't think it would be. But you know what? As the ice melts, it's going to be fine.
Really?
Yeah. Everything's going to be fine.
Or
Everything, the more the ice melts, the more you've already drank, which means it'll be definitely fine. Please don't set yourself on fire, Kyla.
I'm not. Well, not this time.
Not again.
Unless the cat comes up, I'm okay.
We should remind viewers, too, that if they want to interact with us during the show, to use the hashtag Vaginal Fantasy, and we will all see it and integrate your comments into our show.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Thank you, Veronica. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, we're good. And if you don't want all of your Twitter followers to see your comment, you can @Vaginal Fantasy to start the tweet off, so it only goes to people who follow the Vaginal Fantasy account, and then you make your comment and use the hashtag, so that way you don't publicly say vagina a lot. Some people are inhibited. If you're not, more power to you. Kyla, what are you drinking today or tonight?
I'm drinking alcohol.
yeah, but
Okay, wait. Hold on. More specific.
it looks like you're drinking a jar of marmalade.
It's Tang. To go to no, it's not. It's not. It's the same thing I had last month. It's still vodka and those like no-calorie juice things with stevia in them. It's delicious.
How do you drink out of a mason jar without it dumping all over you?
Oh, I've gotten really good. You just have to close your mouth and make little tiny sips.
Pro tip from Kyla.
We need to get a straw, like a Vaginal Fantasy straw of some kind.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Okay,
It's a crazy one.
But it looks like we're flipping to each other really quickly a lot, and I'm starting to get a little motion sickness, so...
Oh,
I don't see that. I feel like maybe, okay, every single month we log into Google Hangouts and everything is always different. Where to find the video is different, where to start the video is different, and it seems like now it feels like the how you change from person to person is a little bit different, so don't get nauseated, Bonnie.
I'm just going to click on my picture, so it's
that's
just
what I did.
me, and I'm not being vain, it's
Okay.
so I don't...
I just clicked on Felicia's picture so I can stare at her gorgeous hair for the entire
That's what I did.
Okay, my hair looks good because I was shooting Co-Optitude, and for the first time ever, we actually had someone to do my hair. So thank you.
Was it your brother? Did your brother do your
My
hair?
brother did it. Yeah, I was like, here's a flat iron. Learn how to do it. Watch a couple YouTube videos. Bonnie, what are you drinking? So we just to wrap it up because I want to be consistent.
So I'm using a wine glass that's almost as big as my head, and and I'm drinking a yellow Riesling. Riesling.
That's my favorite wine.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't like the Rieslings. They're so sweet.
I like Riesling when I'm in the mood for a sweet white, but I don't usually. It used to be my go-to before I knew how to drink.
Oh, is that a baby wine? Is that a baby wine?
Kind of a baby wine.
A little bit.
A little
It's
bit.
okay, I'll be a baby.
It's a delicious wine. It's like a Gewürzenmeier, Gewürzenmeier.
Gewürzen.
All the Gewürzen.
If I drank as much whiskey as Veronica's drinking, I'd be passed out by now, so I have to start.
I drank 2 bottles of Vouvray wine, which is an even sweeter wine than you can possibly imagine with Riesling or Gewürztraminer, on my 21st birthday, and that's why.
Just like Gewürztraminer. Oh, I just say Gewürztraminer.
Gewürztraminer.
You know, I worked at like I've mentioned on the show many times, I worked at a liquor store for 3 years, and I think I just bullshitted my way through that word for like a really long time in a like profession. Yeah, the good German wine.
Yeah.
When people go in for wine, unless they're wine snobs, I don't know. For me, it was just like it's not in a box and it's cold, so I'm drinking it.
I like wine in a box now.
Yeah, you can get it at Whole Foods. It's totally legal now if you get it from Whole Foods.
Totally legal.
Yeah, there's some good ones. It's totally legal.
Okay.
Oh wait. Also, I got my Batgirl underoos.
You got some of those?
I'm wearing pants. Though, of course.
Nope.
Over.
Nope. None of us has
over the underoos.
Nope. Not wearing pants.
Nope. Okay, fine. I'm not wearing any pants.
Thank you. Before we move on to the book discussion, we do our shout-outs to our local Hangouts. So during the month between our Hangouts, we have a really awesome forum on goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy, and people there talk about the books, the alt book, all sorts of different books, even off-topic things like their own writing. And coolest part is they have local Hangouts. So they get together in person or online through another Google Hangout to meet other Vaginal Fantasy fans who want to discuss this book or other books. So I like to give shout-outs to what's happening. In November, in Gothenburg, Sweden, the Viking Booty met, the Jayville Vajayjays met, the Chicago, I don't know if they have a name yet, but they also met, and the Buttered Crumpets in the UK met. And in December, we have the Vaginal Fantasy Down Under, which is Australia, meeting. We have the Ambassadors of Smut in Orange County, the Naughty Nashvillians, the Austin, Texas Reverse Cowgirls, and the Gotham Quills and Quims. All those are local hangouts that are happening. So if you want to join one or create your own, just go to the local group section of the forums on goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy. Thanks, ladies, for keeping us going.
I just want to let everybody know that's using the Vaginal Fantasy hashtag. I went ahead and I'm retweeting a bunch of our viewers that are showing what they're drinking. So it might look like an Alcoholics Anonymous in reverse meeting on our Vag Fan thing, but it's interesting to see how many wine drinkers there are as opposed to like Goldschlager or something. So I thought I would retweet that. So if you see a bunch of people drinking, that's why they're drinking on our Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would ever question why people were drinking on our Twitter feed. I think we're good.
I know. I don't know why I thought I needed to announce that, but I just felt like that was my last responsible thing I was going to say to them. So
that was really nice. But also, I kind of
really
like Goldschlager. So
yeah. So our book this month and our theme this month. So we're kind of like trying to focus the group. Now that we are on our own channel, we're going to add extra content. Thank you, Veronica, for doing the very first alt book blog. We're going to be doing that every month. Each one of us will just rotate through reviewing the alt book so we can have more discussion points around that. And we're going to center around a theme every month. So we've been doing that anyway. But this month was superheroes. And our main book was called Mind Games by Carolyn Crane. And I can read the description as Bonnie. Let me click on your...
As me?
Because Bonnie's the only one who actually gets an actual book anymore because she's old school about it.
Well...
So the book is called Mind Games, The Disillusionist Trilogy #1, and description is, Justine Jones has a secret. A hardcore hypochondriac, she's convinced a blood vessel is about to burst in her brain. Then, out of the blue, a startlingly handsome man named Packard peers into Justine's soul and invites her to join his private crime-fighting team. It's a once-in-a-lifetime deal. With little of Packard's hands-on training, Justine can weaponize her neurosis, turning it outward on Mid-City's worst criminals, and finally get the freedom from fear she's always craved. Is it the end of her problem? There is a dashing police chief who's fighting a unique breed of outlaw with more than human powers. And while Justine's first missions, including one against a nymphomaniac husband killer, are thrilling successes, there is more to Packard than meets the eye. With Packard's help, Justine has freed herself from madness, only to discover a reality more frightening than anyone's worst fears. Bum bum bum.
Wow, that was listening to you like drunkenly slur that description is my thing.
I had 2 sips of absinthe. I don't know what happened.
It's very strong alcohol.
Yeah, save it for the trial. Save it for the trial.
Okay, somebody else go. Somebody else say what they liked about this book and what they didn't like, or if they didn't. Whatever. Go.
Go, Kyla.
Oh, wait. Who goes? Who said?
Kyla. Kyla,
okay.
go.
Okay. I really love this because I don't know if you've noticed, but I am neurotic. And have a lot of anxiety and a little bit of hypochondria and so panic attack. So anyway, it was awesome to see that turned into a superpower. It's like a dream come true for me, and I really liked it. Also, it was a little hard to get past Cubby being named Cubby and not picturing him as your dog.
That was a little
kind
weird.
Of a jerk, and I was like, "There's no way Cubby's a jerk." Spoilers. So spoilers about Felicia's dog, and then yeah, I really liked it for for those reasons. I thought it took a long time to build up to the actual plot too. I mean, like, I think they really took their time, and I thought it was very intricate. And even though there were a few things that bothered me, just in terms of the same kinds of things that bother me with urban fantasy and humor. Other than that, I loved this book.
Hey, Bonnie, what did you think?
I really liked the book too, for similar reasons as Kyla. I'm a hypochondriac, so it was kind of cool that I don't think we've read a romance book where the main character is a hypochondriac, have we?
I don't think there's many that have been written, have they? I don't know. If anybody has any more, put them on Twitter, because I want to read all of them.
Or like the dude is, but the lady isn't? I don't know.
That's like WebMD meets 50 Shades of Grey. That would be where it's just like, oh my god, I'm dying of everything, let's have sex. That could be fine. No, I love that the main character is a hypochondriac. To me, that's there's so many different things that happen in this book that I could relate to, and I could be like, yeah, I would totally do that. That's exactly what would happen to me. I totally get it. I like that there was like a dashing police chief. I don't think we've had the dashing police chief trope yet in our romance books. I can't think of one. We've had bounty hunters, and we've had like detectives and things like that, but not actually anyone running the police station. So, I don't know. I have a lot of like fanfic ideas for Arrow and Gotham and
Constantine.
And yeah. So and I guess on some level Castle a little bit, but I just throw that in there. But no, I for police chiefs. But I just like that was in the book, and so I like the world building. I'm a big fan of superhero stuff and supervillain stuff, so it was nice to have something that wasn't just vampires, werewolves, witches. It was like, oh, superheroes for a change. That's actually kind of nice. So I was thrilled, and I want to read everything about this character.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was definitely, and the sex scenes were great, and yeah, I'm all in. So.
Well, I just want to throw out, we're going to get to the characters later, but the awesome forum has made the love triangle Team Cucumber or Team Packard. I mean, Team Cucumber or Team Kebab. So we're going to get to it, but Team Cucumber or Team Kebab, and we're going to get to why those are in the book, but I just want to give a big shout out to whoever invented those, because it made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Team Kebab!
Yeah.
Team Cucumber.
Really?
Wow. Okay, Veronica, what did you think of the book, and then we'll get into the characters and everything.
Okay, so first of all, it was amazing compared to the alt, so there was that.
Robbie!
I just feel so bad. I really liked it. Was such an original idea. I think what I really dug about it is that I haven't, like we've all kind of said so far, is that I haven't really read a book like that before, where there was a hypochondriac main character, and just the general the powers that they have, the way they operate, all that was kind of new to me. And maybe I don't read a lot of superhero-y type fiction, but I really felt like it was pretty novel, and that's always exciting, especially in this space, because I feel like we retread over a lot of pretty common tropes time and time again. So that was pretty refreshing. And the twist was actually a good twist. Like, I was really pretty surprised that the police chief was not... Well, first they were like, oh, he's a bad guy. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. They've been kind of building him up in her mind throughout the whole book. Of course he's the ultimate bad guy. Of course he's Henji. And then at the end they're like, just kidding. No, he's not really as bad as you thought. Packard's the bad guy. And you're like, no, that all makes sense. And they're like, okay, well, he's a bad guy, but he was actually keeping things in check. He wasn't really that bad. And so I thought it was pretty good. I made some of the comparisons in my vlog video about how, like, in Karma Girl, things were kind of handed to us on a silver platter. Like, everything was pretty obvious. And this one had a lot more surprises up its sleeve. So I felt like there was a good, good basis for comparison between those two books in terms of that. But overall, I really liked it. It was pretty gruesome. There were some pretty, like, the descriptions of how the Silver Widow, or whatever her name was, like, stuck her husband in a hole, let the ants eat his brains. I was like, whoa! Yeah. I can't get that image out of my mind. Can't get those ants out of my head. Did you see how the joke, like, came to me? And
yeah, it's just like as you were doing it.
It was almost a pun, but I'll excuse. It was not quite a pun, so I'll excuse you.
It wasn't quite there.
It wasn't quite there.
But yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I love this book. I read it several years ago, and I just became obsessed with it because, like you guys say, it's so original. And I will be honest with you, and I think we could talk a little bit in general about superheroes. I am not a big superhero fan. I don't generally, especially, I tend to gravitate toward indie comics in general, and then I feel in modern cinema, whether you're talking on TV or in movies, that we have so many women characters who are incredibly just there. They're there to make the hero vulnerable. They're there to make the hero do this. They're basically an appendage, an emotional appendage or plot vehicle for the hero. And I see this a lot. Lately, I've been ranting a lot against Barbara from Gotham and Iris on The Flash. Both shows I love, but characters who are just egregious in the category of love interest, who is just nonsensical and just not smart. So I just love having a heroine who can be kind of a superhero and sort of subvert all the tropes of superhero genre in a way that I haven't seen in a long time. And I'm such a hypochondriac and neurotic and everything, so my inner monologue is Justine all the time. That's why I loved it so much. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to, like, dog. I'm sorry. I don't mean to dog on superhero movies or TV, but it's just like every time I see it, I'm always looking out for that female character who's just not, who's just there to be. I mean, it just really annoys me.
To be awesome. To be the same as what the men are there for.
Fallible, that would be nice.
and yeah, yeah. They're doing a good job on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Arrow's like that. Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has like equal amount of women who are both villains and superheroes that hold their own.
Well, Gotham has great female characters too, and so does Flash. I mean, Flash has great. I love the scientist character. It's just in order to be attractive to the superhero guy, you somehow have to be kind of a not smart or just very cliched. It's hard to get over the cliches of a girlfriend of a superhero. And even though that doesn't necessarily apply here, because she has her own power, it's just a nice, fresh take.
Yeah. I think
it really is.
Books are going to be totally different than comic books, which are going to be totally different than TV shows, because I feel like with books, well, maybe not with romance books. Romance books can fall into stereotypes pretty easily. And we've read many stereotypical type female love interests and guy interests, but with this book I really liked it just because the world building and such. But I mean, we could talk about this later as far as romance in TV shows that we watch right now, like the Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Flash and all that.
Off topic. But anyway, yeah. I just think it's refreshing to have a world that's not
Yeah.
Like, how do you get around all the cliches of superheroes when we have them everywhere, right? So that's why I liked it about the book.
Yeah.
I made a straw poll that you can access at on our Vaginal Fantasy Twitter account. So you can vote if you are Team Cucumber, Team Kebab, or Team Carter, who is also your brother.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Brother.
Who is also your brother.
But you didn't put Cubby on there because literally nobody wanted
Nobody
Cubby.
wants Cubby. Nobody likes Cubby.
Not one person.
A jerk.
Love your dog. love your dog.
So far, Team Cucumber is in the lead. I just want to put that out.
Oh God, I gotta vote. Okay, let's talk about. Okay, let's just talk about overall the world building of the world. I've already said my piece on how I thought it was original and everything. What did you guys think about the world building? Did you buy that the superheroes were legit? Was it? Did you just buy the world building, and was it interesting to you?
I bought it. Yeah, I bought it right away. And then I love that they would just suddenly introduce things like, oh, there's going to be the water wars, and you're like, oh, okay. It kind of felt the way like I saw Interstellar this weekend, and I hadn't read anything about it, and it felt exactly the same way. In that I believed in it right away as everything was introduced. So. I really liked it, and I liked the way that it was just it was just introduced and you just accepted it, and I liked it.
Yeah, I liked. I found it was interesting that there are people who don't believe that these people with powers exist.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a thing where they're like, well, no, I don't really buy it. Like, it's probably not real. But then it's so obvious that it is. Like, I guess they're still pretty underground, as maybe many superheroes are. But I feel like in most worlds where there are superheroes or people with abilities, it's pretty much out in the open. And usually they're kind of, judged or... what's the word I'm looking for? It begins with a P.
Prejudiced against.
Prejudiced
like X-Men.
against.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I really, in light of recent events, I should definitely be more up on that particular vocab word. It's really funny, not funny. But it's a little drinky, and then suddenly my vocab goes out the window. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that there are still people who aren't believers of these particular abilities, but that they can manifest in different ways, and there's like 3 specific kinds, or however many certain kinds there were, or that they kind of really dig into without too much, not exploitation, not exhibitionism, not
this thing where you
explain the things.
You explain the stuff.
Exposition?
Exposition.
Yeah.
Exposition. Exposition. No, is that like an expo? Mm-hmm. Like a Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Exposition. Okay, so told you vocab words. Without doing that too in a bad way, they explain like, oh, you get your powers when you're a little kid, and it's whatever that thing you most want is. It's like, oh, that's right, well, kind of suck, because what if you really wanted a more different kind of power? Mm-hmm. But you're a baby and you're dumb and you don't know that.
You're dumb. Babies are so dumb. They're
oh my gosh,
dumb.
so stupid.
They're useless and they can't do anything for themselves.
Oh,
and they don't know anything.
Get a job,
babies.
Hold your own weight, you stupid baby.
Why do I have to carry you?
No, every time I see a baby, I'm like, you have legs.
Walk, baby. Use them. What, if you didn't walk and you were in the wild, you'd be dead. You're lucky to love you because you're a baby.
Exactly. They wouldn't be like,
by a lion.
I'm not going to eat you. You're
is that why we want to stick their little feet in our mouths? Because they're like,
they're
helpless.
Like, babies can
fight back because babies have those sharp little fingernails that can like break glass. Like they're just like
Why are they so sharp?
Well, I don't.
Sharp.
They need vitamin D or something. They need to thicken they biotin shots or something. The babies.
They need a cat scratcher. I don't know.
Babies are like tiny little Wolverines.
Oh God, I'm sorry to change the subject, but Quest Journals on Twitter just tweeted a picture of Prince with a beret on his head, and it just made me laugh so hard because.
Can we talk about the beret? Because I had issues with the beret.
Okay, let's move into character, even though we need to come back to plot. But let's talk about character, because Team Cucumber, Team Kebab. Who are you for?
It is half and half still. It is split.
Oh, geez.
18 votes for Cucumber, 18 votes for Kebab, and 6 votes for Team Carter. Who is your brother?
Who is your brother? But he's not really your brother. He's actually not your brother. What was his power in order to, was it hopelessness?
Being pissy? Oh,
Being pissy. Yeah,
he's pissy, like a brother.
So basically, everybody in the disillusionist group has a neurosis that they then channel into a victim to make them reform them. So one of them is a gambler. One of them is a hypochondriac. One of them is gets rid of hope. So all of them have a certain neurosis that they channel into bad guys, and that's their kind of team, which I thought was really clever. But I could never remember Carter's because all he did was just be hot everywhere.
Yeah,
it's true.
Okay. Let's talk about the characters. Let's just talk about Otto. Okay, so Otto is the police chief, and yes, he wears a beret the whole time, and yes, that was not sexy. I'm just going to put that out there in my opinion. What did you guys think?
No.
I had a really hard time picturing it as him being sexy, because I really liked him as a character, but I could not get into the beret thing.
I just had to imagine him I just ignored the beret. I tried at first to be like, oh, green beret, like a green beret, and that still wasn't sexy because I pictured the little ribbon that comes out at the thing, and that's still not sexy. I'm sorry. Sorry, green berets.
Two guy characters that wear berets, and that's G.I. Joe and Che Guevara. And neither of these guys are hot to me. One looks like a guy who hasn't paid his college loans yet, and the other guy looks like my dad. So
wait, are there people out there who have paid their college loans?
Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, you guys, you jerk
guys. Reminds me of every liberal arts college guy I've ever dated because they wore that shirt and because they had that poster up on their wall, but they could never really explain who Che was. So I don't know. So people on the forum said they try to imagine him as Che because of Benicio del Toro's hot.
Oh, God. That's exactly. I could never be attracted to Otto Sanchez because I literally pictured Benicio del Toro in a French beret sitting on a sidewalk in Paris sipping espresso like this. And I was like, that is the worst image of a man I could ever imagine.
I'll flip you.
And he did. Oh, and Katrina reminds us that Otto also wore a cape.
Oh, he did.
Oh, God. What's the short cape? I can't remember.
I just meant like whoa. Over the shoulder.
I went on a first date once with a guy who showed up to my front door wearing a cape.
No.
Yeah. And it was
like
the door. 1997, and he showed up at my front door wearing a cape. I'm like, that's an interesting fashion choice. And he's like, well, I just think the cape for men needs to come back. So he was like trying to bring it back by himself, not realizing that's not how fashion trends start. And it was just so hard to go to dinner with him and not start cracking up every time he left the table because it looked like he was about to go fight crime. But he did it in such he walked in such a slow way. I was like, dude, crime, run!
Oh no! And then Croce mentioned Jamie Heineman and his beret, and now I just want to die a little bit.
Oh, he wore the beret because he had a fear of the same exact syndrome that Justine has, which is a made-up thing called vein star syndrome, and it's basically where you'd have an aneurysm or something and die, and if you hit your head, it's more likely to sort of loosen it up. So,
there's hat choices. Like today, we saw a sneak peek of the new Sherlock special, and Cumberbatch is wearing a top hat, and Martin Freeman as Watson is wearing a bowler, and they look great.
So you think a bowler is sexy? I don't know about a bowler. And it's
better than a fedora.
Chaplin, hot.
Really?
You don't think Chaplin's hot?
I don't know. I never looked at him close enough. I was just...
Hitler mustache? Is that what throws you off?
It's cute. Yeah. It's the Hitler mustache. It's not hot.
Well, Hitler ripped it off of him. Chaplin did it first, and Hitler made it bad.
But he ruined it. He did it last.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who did it for second. It's
Hitler ruined a lot of stuff.
Did Hitler ever wear a beret? Is there ever a Hitler beret? I don't remember.
Oh God, that would be worse. Okay, so Otto. Okay,
he did ruin
Hitler
a lot
fedora.
of stuff.
I wish he'd worn a fedora.
Yeah.
There's so many other hats. There's so many other hats. Bowler.
Otto's beret wasn't the only problem people had. People had a problem with Otto's name because it's not a sexy name, and people kept thinking like Mario Brothers kind of
Like Luigi, Mario, and Otto is the third guy? That's the missing triplet?
People, I mean, I have to admit...
well, first of all, that's kind of maybe racist, because sometimes it's not an Italian last name.
It's Italian and German.
They're lumping them in with the Mario brothers.
That's not good.
Yeah.
They're Italian, I know that.
They're Italian-American.
Sausage.
I'm Italian. I don't care. I don't think.
Okay. Second of all, okay, let's just overlook the beret and the cape and the fact that he looks like Benicio del Toro, maybe. So,
Okay.
but what about his thick and cucumbery member? That was why everybody says Team Cucumber, guys, because there's a lovemaking scene, and I believe, where does she mention the cucumbery appendage? Is it in the hot tub, which is always unsanitary?
It's unsanitary.
Why would you get a cucumber in a hot tub? Because a hot tub shrinks things, so it should be a Vienna sausage, not a...
No, a hot tub, because if it was cold in there, it would shrink it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Right?
Sorry. I got my penis physics messed up. Sorry.
Yes. I know you knew what it was.
I know.
Okay, but did you find him sexy during the lovemaking scenes? Because I found those very well written.
Yeah.
But still not him sexy because of the Benicio del Toro thing. I'm sorry. That's the last person on earth I'd ever have sex with. I'm sorry, Benicio. You're excellent.
Why, really?
Yes. I don't know why. Him and Jeff Bridges, never happening.
Really? Together?
I love Bridges.
Now people are sending us sexy pictures of men in berets.
Oh,
More
God.
just upsetting than anything else.
Well, I think beret's ever going to be the new kilt. So
Well, you know what? I don't find Johnny Depp attractive.
Well, now or then? Like Benny and June, Johnny Depp?
Well, no, now, not 21 Jump Street when, like, obviously, height of my hormones, but now,
Johnny Depp is kind of like, he could easily be on Gilmore Girls as a character. Johnny Depp now is a little too emaciated and facial haired and skinny and fragile and...
He just makes very weird career choices. That's my problem with him nowadays. That thing where he's a blonde art museum person is very odd. I don't know about that movie. Anyway, okay, we're off topic tonight.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Off topic. Take a drink.
The point is, sex scenes were good. He's not sexy.
Okay, so he wasn't sexy. Now let's move to, okay, so Otto, Veronica mentioned, and a lot of people on the forum feel very strongly about Otto. Like, some people are like, he wore a cape, he was too old for her, he hated the beret. But then a lot of people were like, I really loved him because he kind of was set up to be this villain, and then he revealed himself to be as vulnerable and actually kind of a good guy, but just maybe a little bit blinders on a little bit with regard to empathy. But it was a great emotional twist to set up this really bad guy and then humanize him in a really gray way. It's a black and white world until we actually get to see him as a character. And in the end, Justine ends up with him. So how did you guys feel about that?
I'm glad that she used her own druthers to kind of figure the whole thing out and didn't just blindly listen to Packard, because, the whole Packard thing, she kind of had a bad taste in her mouth from the very beginning, because she was like, you forced me into this. Like, yeah, I might lose my shit if I don't continue to zing you, but at the same time, like, this was not my choice. This was not you didn't tell me what the ramifications of joining up were going to be. And so she's already like on her guard a little bit about the whole thing. And I'm glad that it wasn't a real clear cut like love story between them, that she was pretty guarded about it. But then Otto, like it kind of shows that her gut instincts were in the right place throughout the book, except for Cubby. I mean, that was just a total cluster. No offense, Cubby dog.
He's okay. He's not in the room.
He's okay.
Oh, good.
Good. Thank God. But she had a gut instinct about Otto, and it turned out to be pretty true. Like, he is actually a good guy trying to do the right thing, and maybe he didn't have all the information or didn't understand what exactly he was doing with his abilities in some cases. Accidentally letting people die, for example. Not optimal. But his heart was in the right place. So yeah, it was she had good gut instincts, which we don't see probably as often as we'd like to in these kinds of books.
Our straw poll, Team Cucumber is pulling ahead of Team Kebab, but it's because we're only talking about Team Cucumber. Let's talk about Team Kebab. So Packard, as a character, was incredibly sexy to me until someone posted a picture of Carrot Top, or what the hell is it? What's that comedian's name?
Yeah, Carrot Top.
Yeah, Carrot Top. Okay, so we have a male red-headed love interest. He is trapped by Otto Sanchez in this kebab place, and we eventually learn that he has the ability, the supernatural, superhero ability, to help neurotic people channel and release their neurosis. So that's how he forms this team. But he does it to Justine, and he doesn't tell her that if she joins and starts zinging him to get rid of her neurosis, then she can't ever stop. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were very upset about Packard and on the forums about that. What did you guys feel about Packard's character, about the relationship? Was it controlling? Was he awful? Did he look like Carrot Top? What do you feel?
I didn't realize he was redheaded. That was in the story? He's redhead?
He was cinnamon colored. I always pictured him like Jamie from Outlander. That's what I thought of him.
Like striped blonde, or are we talking like Weasley ginger?
One of the Weasleys. I always pictured that guy who was in I wrote the name down. He was in Life. What is his name? He's really hot. Damian Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you had said Homeland, I would have known what you were talking about.
Oh yeah, I don't watch that.
Oh.
Don't.
I don't like that guy.
He's okay. But anyway, yeah, as Kate, Mindful Zoo said, the sex scenes with Packard, I think, were maybe hotter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. And also, like, when I pictured it, I mean, we could talk about this when we talk about casting. Mm-hmm. Don't ever think about Carrot Top when you think redhead, because he's like the original vag blocker.
Wait, what? Why? I saw him recently at the farmer's market in San Francisco, by the way. That was weird.
Did you say hi?
What was he doing? Was he buying carrots?
At the...
What just happened?
That's almost too easy, isn't it? He was at the farmer's market buying food. Maybe carrots. Yes, Carrot Top.
Buying carrots.
I don't know if he was buying carrots. It was maybe also other root vegetables. I don't know. Anything.
Oh, that would be great if he just ate carrots. It would actually explain a lot. But
yeah.
There's other hot redhead guys, and to be fair, Benedict Cumberbatch is originally a strawberry blonde. He dyes his hair dark brown.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew it, Bonnie. I remember pictures you posted on Tumblr of him as a redhead, and I was like, you know what Bonnie's going to say? She's going to say that Cumberbatch originally had red hair, and she probably will pull out a regular picture of him. I knew it.
Yeah, take a drink. Is this part of the drink game? If I mention Cumberbatch, you have to take a drink?
Yeah. It should be.
It should be.
Oh, my God.
No, I like Packard. I agree with you. I think the Packard scenes were hotter. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, pretty easy to please if the sex scenes are good. I don't know. I thought there was a good mix of sex scenes in this book, but I don't know if I can which team I'm on. This is hard to figure out. Cucumber.
Shelly on Twitter says the sex scenes were good, just few and far between, and she also says we're skipping over the Otto and Justine scene where he made her feel effervescence in her vagina. # Alka-Seltzer. # vaginal fantasy.
Yeah, or Mentos.
Oh, yeah. Or Pop Rocks.
Or Pop Rocks.
Oh.
I don't know about Pop Rocks. Dangerous to me.
Yeah. I honestly, I pictured him like Jamie in Outlander in the TV show, because he said cinnamon haired, so I thought more brown with a little bit of red. And then shorter haired is in that, but still with some like wave to it. You know, or even like oh God, who's the guy who's playing Stephen Hawking and who was in Les Miserables?
I just saw that movie.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, that guy.
Yeah.
Him. So
his name is
that guy.
That guy, I get it.
But bigger, you know. So I kind of thought of him as that guy, and then but then at the same time, yeah, he was totally like a pimp. I mean, he was totally like, hey, first one's free, you know. Yeah, and she got all addicted to the high, and then he didn't tell her that he was like, no, and then you'll feel better forever, but he didn't tell her because you have to do it forever, and that's not cool.
Yeah, a lot of people in the forums were very offended by that, and I, having read this book 3 years ago, was so Team Packard. I was like, this is the hottest man in literature. Yeah. And now, having reread it, I was like, that was kind of a dick move he did by controlling everybody and not telling them. And I liked the fact that Justine was like, she stood up for herself, which I really liked.
I did too. But he'd been, he's stuck in this place for, he's maybe a little desperate and probably a little nutsy from being stuck in the same place for 8 to 10 years, So maybe he's just like, oh, thank God, and I'm just going to do anything I can because I've got this special connection with this woman. And, I'm not excusing him. I'm just saying there are reasons, maybe. Mm-hmm. Then he's got to work through them and then be possibly excused by her only.
Eddie Redmayne. Thank you, Katrina.
Eddie Redmayne. Yes. Even his name is even.
Yeah.
Red.
He's got red in the name.
Redmayne.
Yeah, like I said, I think the most powerful opinions on the forum were Packard and his controlling or not controlling of Justine, and the deception and the twist at the end that he isn't really that great a guy, but I thought it was really great. You go in and you think Packard's the guy, the great guy, the good guy, fighting the bad guys. Then you think Otto Sanchez is the great guy, and then he's the bad guy, and then he turns out to be a gray guy. So does Packard. So it really dealt with a sort of a morality that we don't normally deal with, especially in superheroes. Like, you're either good or bad. There's no, like, oh, let's empathize with this person. Even if I don't agree with them, I empathize with their point of view,
Which is one of my favorite things, when things are gray like that. Right, like they did it in Buffy. They've done it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A lot of the best sci-fi writers and said the alcohol. Look, I lost my thing. No, because then it forces you to make the decision. It forces you to think. And that's my favorite thing, because life is not black and white.
Yeah.
That was pretty deep. I do want to ask a question about Justine. Are we sure she's not a nymphomaniac and not just a hypochondriac? Because
are you asking that, Bonnie? Because we haven't talked about Justine. That's what I was about to move to.
Okay, there we go. Transition. Take a drink.
Perfect. You're amazing. No, go. I mean, we need to talk about her, and that's an interesting point to bring up.
She hasn't heard of STDs or pregnancy, but she just seemed kind of like a clueless nymphomaniac, not necessarily a hypochondriac. I don't know. If I was a hypochondriac, I wouldn't be having sex all the time, because I'd be worried about diseases all the time. Am I totally overthinking this? It just feels like a lot of hypochondriacs aren't exactly free and easy with the sex with everyone.
Well, she must have her. I think she has her thing. I think she's got a certain subset of diseases that she's more concerned about than others.
Vascular embolism.
She's not washing her hands all the time, and she's not.
You could be a hypochondriac and not be OCD with washing hands and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm getting hypochondriac and germaphobe mixed up. I'm a hypochondriac, but I still kiss people. Well, not just random people. I mean, I'm picky.
I would never drink out of a random person's glass.
Oh,
ever.
You really wouldn't?
I've done that.
No, I don't even think I'd drink after you guys.
I could drink out of Kyla's mason jug. And that's not a euphemism. I mean that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what did you guys think of Justine and her issues?
I think that she had a particular neuroses revolving around vascular things like embolisms and aneurysms. And those were the things that really set her off. And as a person who developed certain neuroses that she had to deal with, her name rhymes with Smila. I understand that. So then, there's other stuff that you'd think that you would worry about, say taking Percocet with alcohol or something. You think you would worry about that, but you don't. So there's different. It's a very complex anxiety-related disorder, right? So that's why I think that she probably wasn't that wasn't her thing that she was worried about. She wasn't worried about STDs.
Someone brought up on the forum, which I totally agree with when I was reading it, that she just wore a random bathing suit at Otto's place. And I was like, that is unclean.
She did it. I would not do Silver Widows too. She wore her weird silver bikini at the Silver Widows place too. Who does that? And who just has bathing suits hanging on a wall for guests to use? Like, what is that thing rich people do?
I think if you owned a hot tub, you would have some extra bathing suits maybe on hand for people who don't want to go totally commando.
But would they be new? With, like, still the strip in them?
Like chlorine.
No. Would you wear someone's underwear? Because if you're not going to wear someone's underwear, you should not be wearing their bathing suit. Because bathing suits are even worse.
If I was going to be sitting in a vat of chlorine. And that's what a hot tub is. So you can remember, chlorine kills everything. So... It's like
so disgusting to start with.
It's so all kind of gross. Yeah.
It's basically just a vat of like vag and peen juice. And like bubbling and like simmering for like
other stuff.
Pee particles and just mixing in together and this frothy
tooting.
Like,
guys, you're ruining hot tubs. It's not like an STD cauldron.
Well, they're not that sexy. I think that we're all grown up enough to finally admit that.
I love hot tubs. I want one in my backyard. I would live in a hot tub if I could. I just wouldn't get a gross, one of those wood-burning hot tubs that you see in the back of, like, Utney Reader. I wouldn't get, like, a hippie hot tub. I'd get, like, with, like, a sound system and a light show. You can get... You can get really nice hot tubs now. They're not all like 1970s orgy props. They're actually like, you could get the Mercedes of hot tubs, and it's all like super clean. And it's
I like hot tubs.
It's still a gumbo for genitalia. That's all it is.
You have to know, you're getting into. It's like, it's not stone soup, okay? It's not... You're not bringing the village together.
I would like a hot tub to relax in. I don't necessarily like to bring water into my sex life, or else I would still have a waterbed.
Oh God, waterbeds.
Oh God, waterbeds.
Don't bring us back.
The bed does all the work for you.
Does it? Doesn't it make it harder? I don't know.
Well, it's like a motion thing. It's physics.
Oh boy.
I
don't think I've ever read a romance book with a waterbed lovemaking scene in it. I really feel like that needs to be written.
What? I will find us one. I will make that an alt pick. And when I do my vlog, I'll talk about waterbed sex the whole time.
Oh, God. Okay. What about Justine? Okay, let's not talk about sex. Yes, she was attracted to a lot of men.
Yeah.
But, you know, to defend Cubby, wasn't Cubby written like any other girlfriend of a superhero does? And, in fact, it didn't even matter about his gender. It's like the significant others of superheroes, they have a hard time to be interesting because he basically was that, what are you doing? Oh, I'm hiding my stuff. Well, I'm perfect. I'm going to judge you. I mean, isn't that what every partner of every superhero ever does in any
Yes. It totally reminded me of Rounders. Do you remember that movie with Matt Damon where they're... Yeah, and his girlfriend, the cute blonde one...
that one.
Yeah,
and Gretchen Mol.
Yeah, and that's her whole part, is to just be mad at him for having a gambling addiction, and she just gets mad the whole time and dumps him, and doesn't ever even. She's super one-dimensional but perfect.
Yeah. So it's basically a love interest problem versus like a gender problem, even because there are, I'm sure, gender problems and because they're just a lot more superhero guys. But it's just a hard person to be.
Superhero problem. I mean, dating a superhero, they're always going to be in the spotlight. Their hours are crap. They're always getting groupies. I mean, it's like dating someone in a really
celebrity. Yeah.
That's always on tour, and then they're always going to be super judgy about everything you do. And even supervillains, dating a supervillain, I think would be a little more fun. But they're really, you can't have pets if you're in a relationship with a supervillain because you never know what's going to happen to them if they're going to be experimented on or something.
True. Or just shaved. And
superheroes do best when they're like dating super villains because the sex is got to be great, or it's got to be superhero with another superhero. Though I'm totally still against Wonder Woman and Superman.
I don't like that either.
I like Wonder Woman and Batman.
Exactly. Like Batman and Catwoman are like the perfect sexual tension situation. Whether you're reading the comics, even in the animated series for kids, they still flirt. I mean, it's great, and I like that. I hate Lois Lane. I hate human girlfriends for superheroes, and I hate human girlfriends for superheroes. because they're never going to be good enough. I mean, seriously. I mean, that's just, like, impossible. And it's just, like, I like it when they're an equal relationship. And you can't have an equal relationship when one of you can, like, leap over tall buildings and, like, melt steel with your eyes. I mean, what's the point to that? Like, you're really good at cutting coupons, or you're good at, like, finding deals on Amazon. It's not going to be the same thing.
Well,
so
maybe you're better about cleaning the cat box.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'm just saying.
Power.
That's a superhero power.
That means a lot.
Right.
Okay, question. Regardless of the love context, what do we think about Justine as a character? Did you like her? A lot of people found her to be very unlikable on the forums, which kind of surprised me, but I get it. They're not a lot of the characters aren't necessarily likable, but they're very multidimensional in my opinion. But what did you think about her behavior? Did she act too young? A lot of people said that too. What were your impressions of her as a person? And did you like her arc through the story?
I didn't like that she was. I've had this problem in a lot of I've had this problem in a lot of urban fantasies where they write. It's like they write the woman for men in some ways, where she's constantly being put into these. She's like, oh, and then I put on a little skirt and a little tank top and strappy heels, and I'm like, why do I care? Why didn't you just put on some jeans and something cute that that I would care about? That most women would care about. Like it's cool when you're like, oh God, and then I put on this amazing dress for this one time, like girl stuff. But like every time it was like, oh, and then I was freezing in the bus because I was only wearing strappy heels, and it was so annoying. Plus that, and her calling the people that worked for her underlings and things like that were very annoying to me. So I liked her neuroses. I liked the fact that she had them. I liked that part of her character, and I liked the growth of that. But I didn't like the other part. It felt like it was not written for me.
Interesting.
For as a woman, not just for Kyla.
Veronica, what did you think?
Wait, which part was not written for you? Sorry.
The part with the strappy heels and the little skirts and the things that she was always like, every outfit was tiny and like a little tiny thing and little nubby skirt and strappy heels every time, and I didn't understand why I would be interested in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was annoyed with her with the whole cubby interaction because it seemed just so superficial, and she knew it was superficial, and that was kind of the whole entire point. But it was so obvious and over the top, and then like when he just like cheated on her, and she was like, "Wah!" Like, whatever.
She was kind of cheating on him with a lot of people.
Yeah, she had already. Yeah. I mean, it does not. I mean, does it excuse it? I don't know. I guess maybe no.
They had a terrible relationship.
They did have a. Did they have a terrible relationship, though? Because it seemed like their relationship was kind of okay. Like, they got along, they snuggled on the couch, they did stuff, and then she kind of went, like, batshit and just disappeared. And if she had been a little more honest with him, I think maybe it could have worked out more. But she lied to him constantly, for really no reason. If she, like, he knew she was a hypochondriac. She could have been like, listen, I'm doing this thing. It's helping work out some of my issues. It's like I feel like it's a really good thing. And maybe she didn't have to give him all the details, but was a little more forthright with what she was doing. Maybe things could have actually worked out with them.
It's true, because he was absolutely right that she was a hypochondriac, and he was finally just fed up. And I understand that going through that, like oh my God, just come on, everyone knows you don't need to go to the ER right now, right?
Yeah.
Like except for that person. So yeah, that's you have a good point. It's a very good point, Veronica.
I feel like Cubby was just there to talk like other guys to get with Justine. Like, I just feel like he really didn't have a real point to be in the book other than that. And I like Justine, except it was strange to me. I don't know, maybe it's not strange, maybe it's kind of empowering that they describe her as medium pretty, but I
wanted to bring that up because so many people on the forum were mad about that.
Every guy she meets thinks she's perfect and wants to date her. I don't know how realistic that is, especially since she's neurotic on top of being medium pretty. That doesn't always spell, hey, #1match.com setup. So I don't know. It was weird that why even bring up medium pretty? Like, it just seemed like such a random way to describe her. Like,
But
like,
then
just
when you
kind of
hate her,
that way.
but don't you hate him when it's like, I'm so perfect, and she's like, oh, I was a cheerleader and I look beautiful, and then she acts like she has low self-esteem even though she's like a total supermodel. I hate that too.
Girls who we know like that who are super drop dead gorgeous, but they think they're ugly, and you don't know if they actually think they're ugly or they're just pretending to say that they think they're ugly to get more compliments.
Yeah.
It's like that weird humble brag, right? Like it's oh, I look horrible, you guys, when actually that person knows they look awesome.
Yeah, I'm so fat. I'm like 2 pounds, overweight. And then you're
Really skinny girls complain about their weight when I'm around. I want to eat them. I want to be like, you have no idea what fat is. Like my rolls, like I don't have muffin top. I have a muffin store, and I'm okay with that. But don't bring in your weight issues when the person next to you weighs twice as much as you. Like that's kind of a etiquette. Don't. I would imagine.
No, I did that to my friend yesterday. We're gonna go get blood on Thanksgiving, and she was like, oh, but they always want me to give it twice, and they'll probably want you to give it twice because you have an interesting blood type, and I was like, oh yeah. And then she's like, but I can't give it twice because they're like, you have to be over 150 pounds. And I was like, yep, I'm 150 pounds. Maybe more. I don't know. I ate a donut in bed the other night. I'm a Roman emperor. I don't know.
I'm a Roman emperor.
I don't want there to be any illusions. I lost my
The medium pretty thing just seemed weird to bring that up and how they described her, and it was hard for me to picture what medium pretty means.
Yeah.
Like, they always have like in those 80s and 90s like movies where the girl's supposed to be dorky, but she's really just super hot but with glasses on, and then the minute she takes off the glasses, suddenly it's a makeover. Like,
yeah, but to argue against, because somebody on Twitter said, I like that she thought she was medium pretty, but then another one said the fact that she thought she was medium pretty was bragging. It's almost like we don't like it when a woman is confident in what she has. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't like it if she's super pretty and is confident about that. You can't have that because that's arrogant.
Like, there's no winning.
There's no winning for a woman who'd be like, you know what, I'm pretty attracted the way I am. I might not be perfect, but I'm pretty hot. And that's what I kind of liked about Justine, because she was okay with being who she was and confident in it, even though she knew she wasn't like a supermodel. Like, is it like a natural thing for us to not like people to even be confident? I think so sometimes with other women. I don't know. That's just my thing.
No, I think you're absolutely right. With women, I think you're absolutely right. We don't like it. There's no winning with women. If they think that they're not attractive, you're like, well, then you're a victim. And then if you're overly confident, then they think that you're arrogant. And then if you're even in the middle, they're like, well, you're just pretending you just want compliments. Mm-hmm. So, it's like, ha! What do you do?
It made me feel like this book was just it was kind of like pandering to the woman crowd, because it's like, look at our heroine. She is medium pretty, and yet look at all these guys still want to have sex with her.
Right, and she's still wearing strappy heels. And
she's like, she's just like all of us. She's medium pretty.
I think that's like, that was
medium pretty is.
That used to be the way that they would film porn in the 80s, is they'd have really ugly guys because they thought the guys watching it would get insecure if they saw hot guys in a porn. So that's why there's a lot of really ugly dudes.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Where things have changed a little bit, hopefully, now. But, I mean, I kind of understand.
I wouldn't know.
Folks, you don't want the perfect girl to be your heroine, because you want a Jane Eyre type quality to your lead where she's not perfect, she's not super glamorous, she's not super beautiful, but because she's a full character, then you see, oh, well, that person's worth getting like everything she wants out of love, as opposed to someone who's been handed everything all the time. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see someone who's privileged get more privilege. That's boring. That's, So, I don't know. I mean, that's just my thoughts on why they would make her medium pretty as opposed to like super gorgeous or super fugly.
Okay, well, just briefly, we need. I just want to talk about a couple things, and then we'll do casting, and then we'll move on. First, before we didn't really talk about the plot, which we did a little bit. But I just wanted to throw one question out there. Did you think it was moral what the disillusionist and Packard was doing. Because they were taking this woman, the Silver Widow or whatever, and she was a terrible person. Yes, she committed crimes and she was never convicted of it. But they basically ruined her life. And she wasn't a good person, but do you think that was right? And I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Do you mean
vigilantism is always fun unless it's something involving you or your life. Like it's always it's always exciting as long as it's not you being the target of the vigilantes. But it's you know what I mean? Like
it's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy, and in this world, I mean, clearly some of those people were doing awful, horrible things, and they, maybe like that one guy, what was his name, that they kept following, going back to, the one that had screwed over her father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that was kind of a weird, like, random subtext to this whole story that, like, that had happened. I thought that was going to be a bigger plot point, but really it was just a way to integrate. I don't know. It was kind of odd.
Do you think it comes up in the other books?
I don't think so. I think it was resolved at the end when he was reformed and showed how good.
Then they're like, because he just wanted love or whatever.
But it did kind of come back, like, as someone says, like, well, let's see if it sticks. Like Otto or someone at the very end of the book it was like almost the very last chapter. They were like, well, this might not actually have taken. So I feel like that is going to come back in later books. Though I don't intend to read them probably. Not because they were bad, but because I never, except for Kate Daniels, read any more books.
Did you read a lot? Or you read a lot more of the Kate Daniels?
I'm almost done. Yeah, the whole series.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I'm totally into it.
You're like me with the Cressley Cole. I hate her. Nope, love her.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like that thing will probably come back around again somehow and be like, maybe this whole thing didn't stick in some way.
Yeah. Okay, a question from the forum. I mean, we've been touching on a lot, but Kayla from the forum asks, if you had a high cap power, one that was specifically mentioned in the book, which one would it be?
So let's do a rundown. What are all the powers? Because I don't remember them all.
Telekinesis.
Yeah.
The architecture, being able to form architecture and trap people.
Being able to read. Wasn't there a mind reader one?
Definitely a mind reader. There's a revisionist, a mind revisionist.
Good.
God, there were a lot of them, and I can't remember a lot of them because we didn't emphasize them. Of course, Packard being able to channel people's emotions, or I mean, you can open it up. Let's open it up to beyond just the book, but of that type. Okay. I would like to be able to convince people. Like, that would be fun. Like what those old. I always loved like Elmer Gantry. That old time movie where the preacher would go around and convince people in the tents to like join his sort of evangelical. Not like that in a religious sense, but they'd be able to the ability to persuade people.
A Jedi mind trick, like a Jedi.
Yeah, kind of a Jedi mind trick. Yeah.
So, it's persuasion. Persuasion, would be yours. Yeah.
I think we've talked about this when we talked about what powers we want. Like, I would love to immediately be able to transport anyone instantly to like the middle of the Sahara Desert.
That specific?
That is oddly specific.
Like yes. A bunch of drunk guys outside by the bus stop where I live, screaming their heads off and being like violent, have mental problems type people. I'd be like, yep, you're off to the desert. If it's like a whole gaggle of drunk sorority girls, going to the desert. If it's like
you're off the island.
like someone mugging people and I see like a mugging happen, going to the Sahara Desert. Like, I would just transport those people. Now, if that seems mean, because you don't want the whole desert to just be douchebags, then
that seems mean to the desert dwellers, yes.
The desert dwellers, yeah, Burning Man, which is redundant. I guess I would like to be able to mute people, and I'm the only one to mute them. So if I mute you, it's like you mute someone on Twitter, right? When you talk, I'm just not going to hear you anymore, but I'm the only one that I'm the only one that's in control of that. So you have to do a lot of good in your life for me to unmute you. So yeah.
I like that one a lot.
feel like these are like grouchy old lady superpowers. Like I'm not thinking of anything like magical or like something that would be.
It's fine. No, because this book specifically is a little less magical and so it's more emotional and or subtle.
In crime, I'm just trying to be less annoyed.
Yeah. What about you, Veronica?
It'd be fun. I always go right to the tech stuff, so I'd like to be able to fix any tech problems just by like thinking about them. You know, like a piece of software is not working, I can somehow fix it in my brain, or like a gadget's not working, I could just like.
Would you want people to know, Veronica?
What?
You want people to know that's your superpower? Because I feel like your phone would ring all the time.
No, it'd have to be a secret. They'd just would have to think that I was like really good at tech support. I have to fake it sometimes. Be like, no, I can't fix this. Sorry.
I would be calling you all the time about how do you send an attachment? How do you make an Excel spreadsheet? I don't remember what my Wi-Fi password is. Can you figure this out? Like that's I feel like everything for us, a lot of it just turns into Geek Squad.
Totally.
But you know what? It's good enough. You don't want to sit with it too long, but it's good enough. Okay, Kyla?
I think that I would really like to be able to have people give me whatever I needed emotionally. Yeah, just even if I had to exchange my emotions for theirs, but if I didn't and they had the emotions to spare, I would love it if, like, just for whatever reason, I was about to like break down and cry, and I knew it was a really bad moment to break down and cry. That I could just do a thing with my hand or whatever, and they would just like, and I was just like, hey, I'm cool, I'm whatever, everything's great. Yeah, and I'd just be like totally fine.
Wait, is your super?
I'd be like, why is that person crying over there? That's
weird. Is your superpower that you could control emotions, or is your superpower if you're about to cry, instead of you crying, you make someone else cry?
I don't really want to make the other person cry, but if I had to, I would. If they couldn't handle it, that's not my problem.
That would be super hilarious if you were like all of a sudden super turned on, but you didn't want to be turned on, and so you made someone else like on the bus.
Yeah. Like you're reading like a sexy book on the airplane.
Yeah,
it never happened to me at all, and suddenly it's like you're like awkwardly all worked up.
Right, because I'm like, I gotta go to work, so and I have to get off the bus now, so you.
Enjoy.
Like I feel like that's the best superpower ever, because if you're like super angry and you don't want to be angry, and then you're at like church and then you make the minister super angry. You're like you just want to throw a tantrum but you can't, so you like look at somebody who never throws a tantrum and they suddenly say, I mean this is brilliant. I love this superpower.
That's a good one. This is a good one, Kyla.
Thanks.
Don't come near me though.
Okay. I wouldn't do it to you.
Oh, I know you would. Okay, last thing, casting. We got a lot of opinions on the forum.
Hear 'em.
Okay. I already said Damian Lewis and Benicio del Toro. For Justine, Justine was hard for me. And there were some good, like Amy Acker kind of came up for me because she is really pretty, but, she's very humble. And I thought that would be a nice quality for Justine.
It's like understated pretty, as opposed to out there in your face.
Exactly. A lot of people said on the forums, Adrienne Padalecki and Natalie Dormer, Emily Blunt. Somebody said me. I'm like, you have good taste. Nina Dobrev, Charisma Carpenter, Emma Stone, and somebody said Kyla. Susan said Kyla. So.
Oh, really? Thanks a lot, guys. What are we, Bonnie Chop Stewie?
You always get the kick-ass ones, Veronica and Bonnie. Come on.
Yeah, I know. We get the neurotic ones.
Yeah, I'll be Kate Daniels. You guys can be whatever you want. I'll take.
You'd be a great Kate Daniels.
Right. What do we all think for casting then?
Did anybody else have any opinions on casting?
I thought Emma Stone, so they took that away.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Kyla?
Emma Stone. I thought that.
I like Olivia Wilde, but she might be a little too pretty to be medium pretty. It's hard to know like which celebrity counts as medium pretty, because I think
Olivia Wilde is the most beautiful person I've ever seen. I acted with her on House, and I literally forgot my lines because I was like, I'm sorry, you're too pretty. Like I literally said that to her.
Who looks like that?
You said that on set?
I did, because her face is the most perfectly symmetrical thing ever created. I was like, I can't stop staring at your face.
It is like, it's like you think Natalie Portman is pretty, and then you look at Olivia Wilde and you go, oh, something can be prettier than that. How is that possible?
You know what's great too? If you watch the most recent season of Portlandia, she plays like this animal rights activist punk rocker.
Oh yeah.
She still looks like a supermodel. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, you're ruining the bar for all of us.
No, Jean-Luc Picard is in my town right now.
What? Why?
He's filming a movie, The Green Room.
Oh, neat.
I can't say why I know that. I just know some people that are maybe going to be in it and stuff.
Okay, maybe, I'm changing it up. So instead of Olivia Wilde, because you're right, she's too pretty, maybe the girl that played Juno.
Ellen Page?
Ellen Page?
Ellen Page. What about what's her face? Who's like Tyler?
Yeah, like I know she's gay in real life, but I feel like she's pretty. Like she could fit the bill of pretty, but not like drop your glass of wine gorgeous when someone walks in the room.
Emmy Rossum, I got from Twitter. That's a good one.
That is a good one. I was thinking Rose Tyler just because of the dyeing her hair blonde.
Oh yeah. Okay, so what about
real name? Whatever real name is.
Any other? We kind of went over Otto, and then we kind of went over Packard as well. Did anybody else have any guys that they wanted to throw in?
I forgot what hair color is Packard. Is he the redhead?
Red.
Cinnamon. You said Jamie.
I'm thinking one of the Weasley twins. So
Fred or George or whatever.
They're pretty cute.
Any of the Weasleys, I think, could fit that mold pretty well. And then Otto, Prince, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much for attending our first Vaginal Fantasy on our own channel. We'll be doing the alt the week on the Friday before all of our Hangouts. Our next Hangout is on the 30th, but I need to double check with all the ladies that they're going to be in town. So put a pin in that and look at the forums, and I will correctly put that date on the weekend. And make sure to subscribe and spread word that we've moved the channel. If you love romance novels, if you like discussion about books, if you like the way that we participate, please support us, because we like to get our... What? I'm drunk.
I like how you said if you like the way we participate, which is such a nice way of, do you like 80% of us talking about tangents?
Okay. Anyway, so next month we will be... Okay, so next month I picked 2 books.
Okay.
And the theme is Christmas werewolves.
Oh!
Specific, right? So the main pick is called Wolvesbane and Mistletoe. It's an anthology of short stories by a lot of great authors we love, like Kate Daniels' author, and I'm not sure if this author is, but Crisley Cole. I think a lot of authors we read had a short story in this collection, so I'm excited about that as our main pick. And our alt pick, which I'm going to review in a vlog, is called A Seal Wolf's Christmas by Terry Spear.
Wait, say it again.
Oh, what?
It's a team of seal soldiers that are actually werewolves.
Yeah.
Wait, the seals? Like they're seals?
Like no, seal wolf. Not the animal, but the seal, like the Navy SEAL.
Seals who are werewolves. Okay.
That's hot.
That's kind of hot. It's kind of hot.
So anyway, I don't know, dude. It's gonna be interesting. Okay. So anyway, tune in. We'll see you, and everybody have a great holiday this week.
Yay!
All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.